Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Hope you are doing all right. Thank you for joining us. I am super freaking excited about this episode today. It has been now a couple weeks since we got to spend some time together over in Austin, Texas. Got to know pretty much most of the entire team. I happen to know quite a few of them already, but definitely great to meet some faces that were new to me. Also, some names that I had known for a while but never had met in person. But then most importantly, my guy, Shibtoshi. What a pleasure to get to meet you, hang out a little bit, and have a couple conversations here and there. But really just the opportunity to get to know you, man. I think was great, and this was in the making after that, because you guys are doing some really exciting things. You've got SilentSwap coming, plus a jillion other things. So I want to get into that, but I definitely want to see how you're feeling, man, how things are going. What was that experience like in Austin for you? Was that like the first, I guess it was definitely the first karate combat experience for you guys, but, as far as like an event like that goes, and what'd you think? And, we're going to see more of you at some of that stuff. But first off,
hey, what's going on?
What is up,
go ahead. What's going on, man? Thanks for having us up here. Dude, I mean, it was a pleasure to meet you. It was a pleasure to be involved in everything that we had going on in Texas. And, that was our first appearance at Consensus with SquidGrow, and also our first involvement in karate combat. And god dang, man, it was a lot of memories were made in that short period span,
Absolutely.
It was just full of adrenaline, full of action, full of meetings, full of everything. It played out really nice, and we cultivated some very nice relationships as a direct result from karate combat and Consensus itself. Also a secret network event as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, man, it was such a great time.
Absolutely. So do you think that that is now kind of the model moving forward of, hey, let's make sure that we hit the conferences, and also like the ones where, because obviously the Bitcoin conference with Karate Combat joining forces with them, doing another convention and event at the same time, which I think is fantastic, especially because they are our first professional sports league. But I believe there are more events in the works. Obviously Consensus again going next year to Toronto, and I think Karate Combat's already talking about doing an IFC for that one as well. keeping the consensus thing rolling. I mean, is this something you foresee yourself doing a little bit more in the future? Is making sure that you hit these events and tie yourself to whether it's Karate Combat, or I don't know if you guys are exclusive with them, or if you're gonna hop in with any of the other kind of event production companies that are putting things up.
Yeah, so absolutely. We are obviously going to be doing our international rounds, running the circuit, so to speak, for these conferences. Now is the time to put our name and our brand out there as we are gearing up to drop our utilities.
Yeah.
So it's just about brand awareness, spreading the message, talking to people about what it is that we are doing. I do plan on now. I will say I don't have anything contractual as of now, but I do anticipate and plan to be involved in Karate Combat in Bitcoin Nashville. We have had numerous opportunities, not numerous, but we had a couple opportunities to get involved with some of the other leagues, but very similar to last year when I passed the opportunity to sponsor Killer Whales, the TV show. I had already inked a deal with the next crypto gym, and I'm loyal to kind of who I'm moving first with. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, although some of these other leagues have approached us about sponsorship, I mean, I'm Karate Combat, man.
It's so exciting,
dude. Absolutely, and on top of that, President Awesome. We're going to be doing a facelift on his gym in Florida, so we're going to be rebranding that with SquidGrow. New mats, new, all the whole nine. So, I'm really excited to be so heavily involved with these guys, and they're just great guys, man. I mean, they've got a great organization going on. It was super entertaining. I mean, the fact that they're, have these action sports, and then kind of meshing cryptocurrency with it, like. I mean, like I said at the fight, I mean, this is where we belong.
Oh,
so,
dude,
absolutely. We might not, the entire team might not be coming out to every, Karate Combat fight, but I do plan on, at least at the ones that are associated with a conference, I do plan on having a presence there, whether it's just through branding or it's an actual physical appearance.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. And I think, with you guys obviously being a crypto and I want to get into some of this stuff about crypto and meme coins and all that stuff in a little bit here, but I think this is just a great part of the conversation because of the experience that I just had going through this. And then, if you guys are continuing to work with Karate Combat, I think that's fantastic. I know that I've got a few more fights left in me. There's no way.
Well, I'm taking sponsors. I mean, I'm dishing out sponsors. I mean, excuse me,
my guy. So maybe not in Nashville. I think that's still a little too soon. I got to get my cardio up, as we found out in Austin. But
dude, it takes some guts to even climb into the pit, right? So anybody that wants to, regardless of who the fighter is, anybody that wants to like run their mouth and say this, that, and the other. I've been fighting my whole young life. It takes guts to climb it, especially like if you don't come from a background of fighting. Like to even get in there, the fact that you got in there and you did your thing, like, dude, I mean, that takes guts. Nobody can take that from you.
I appreciate that, man. And round one was mine. I know round one was mine, darn it.
Dude.
I got gassed out in round two. I got smoked up, but round one was mine, man. I had him.
Yeah, I cringe. So your black eye, I'm pretty sure that came from the knee.
I don't know where.
Do you think? Dude, he landed this freaking knee to your face, and I was like, oh.
So I still have not gone back and watched the fight. I'm waiting for really when I start to pick up the training again, full steam. Mm-hmm. To get in there and then really start to pick it apart. But I know how it went, but it was either that or when he opened up my nose with the knee, one of the two. But I'll tell you what, I still can't breathe correctly. I feel like
we kind of got faked out though, because he was like not the Fire Festival guy. Like it wasn't known like he had all these trainers. When I heard GSP say that his trainer was dude's trainer, and he's got like 70 other trainers. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
No.
Now it
We
makes
were under the
sense.
impression he was like not like a fighter, like
Yeah.
not been. I mean, I just felt misled.
That me too. Yeah, no, that's what I think that's what they
I
had
could
to
only
do
imagine.
to get somebody in the pit, because I was under the impression that the other fights that were canceled were because they wanted someone with no experience just like him, and so that come to find out he had a lot of training. That it was funny because George had said something to me, and we love George. George is great, but he had said
Yep.
something to me like a couple days before the fight. He goes, and I think it was at the press conference. He goes, "Well, he may have some tricks up his sleeves." Well, I found out very quickly what those tricks were.
Yeah, when I heard him talking about it, obviously Gary Cardone and myself were directly behind everybody. When I heard him say that, I looked at Hunt and I said, "Oh fuck." Just like that, dude.
You know what? I knowing what I know, and my whole goal, because now I just got it like 3 days ago, came to my house, is my pro MMA fighter card, right? So I'm now pro with a 0-1 record, which is ridiculous. Like that's not how it's going. I'm not going out that way. So now, like I said, I got 2 fights in me because I got to be 2-1. So maybe in a year from now, I'm going to challenge Billy to a rematch, and I will have way more training, way more composure, way more understanding and fight IQ. And I guarantee you, I will knock him out in the first round, because I should have done that on the wall. I was just inexperienced.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like I said, I mean, it takes a lot of guts to get in there, and you don't come from a fighting background as far as I'm aware. So,
Nope.
I mean, you got in there, you did your thing, and it was just a smashy smash, kicky kick type of fucking fight. But you got in there, you did the best that you could with the training that you currently have. And next time, I tell you what, with the sponsors that I have, I definitely want to be a little more involved in oversight of the training aspect,
Nice.
because it's not like, I mean, obviously, like I like being involved in this type of stuff, and I like to give my community somebody to root for. And when we're associating, with an event or with an organization or an individual fighter, I just, I kind of want to be a little more involved, I guess, is kind of what I'm getting at.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. You handle it from soup to nuts, and then listen. Like you can, if you're a part of, like, say, the training or whatever, and even if it's just creating content, the whole story, the bigger picture, the everything that you telegraph to the community as part of the project, what you're involved with, everything, it's all just becomes a part of it then. And no, dude, that makes a ton of sense.
Well, I'll have the. I don't know where you're located, but here I'm sure in the next couple months, I'd love to get you down to President Awesome's gym in Florida after it's rebranded with all our stuff, and definitely get you some training there with some of his fighters. And
where are they at? Where are they at in Florida?
They're out of Florida. I couldn't tell you the exact location.
It's called isn't it called the Coach Shed, right?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. To be honest with you, man, I'm just the money guy. Like, I don't ask those kind of questions. I guess I should, but
that's funny.
I'm told what's needed, and make it happen. So, but we're in the process of kind of just designing, like all the canvas and all the mat stuff right now. So I think it's going to be a good turnout. Definitely will have a place for you to train if need be.
Yes.
President Awesome's a great guy, but we can cross that bridge when we get there. But dude, I mean, the overall experience was amazing. I'm fucking hooked. I hope LARPing don't mind me saying this, but immediately after I got back, I hit him up and I was like, yo, like, I'm buying into your company. I'm buying into your organization. I want to be a percentage holder. I want to have some equity in this. Like, let's get it done.
Nice.
And he was like, yeah. Yeah, Karate Combat is like, nobody owns it. I'm like, what do you mean nobody owns it? So I guess they like did something where they like, I don't want to murder it, but there's just not an owner of the organization anymore. So I was like, damn, man.
I wonder if they've decentralized it. Yeah. Turn it into a
DAO
or something.
That's it exactly. So yeah, they did something like with DAO and the tokens, but I'm like, damn, man, here I am thinking I found like UFC super early, and I'm about to get into it ground level, with my brand. But anyway, That's not how it went. But I'm hooked, and they catered to my team, my community. Um, I mean, they were just super attentive. I
Oh yeah.
mean, it was one of the very first times that, you know, our deliverables that were agreed upon, they went above and beyond. Like we didn't have to ask for anything. They gave us more than contractually they were obligated to do. Normally we have to fight tooth and nail for
Yeah.
whatever it is we're supposed to get. And that wasn't the case. So completely professional organization. I mean, everybody stand up. I like everybody. So, yeah, dude, it
Absolutely.
was a great experience.
Everybody that I've met at that organization is absolutely amazing. What was it like, maybe the first time, because that whole room, I've been to a couple karate combat events now, and that was one of my favorite settings, right? What was it like for you when you walked out that first time and saw, your logo on the mat? Were you like, fuck yeah, that's dope?
Yeah, man, it was kind of like, it was, I don't know. It was a very personal moment, like walking out and like, seeing our logos in the pit. Like it was a very memorable moment for me. It was something that obviously we've never done before. So like it was a new adventure for us. And it was just very sentimental to me. Felt very, very proud. When Ross concluded his fight and knocked his opponent out and went down and knelt down next to
Hell
our logo and
yeah.
paid some homage, like the amount of pride I felt right then and there was, as I'm freaking jumping up and down, screaming like a freaking high school girl, losing my voice. It was overwhelming, man. It was, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride. I mean, Tina, how'd you feel about it? Like,
It was amazing. I mean, especially for me, I've been a fan of Karate Combat and I'm a big fan of SquidGrow. So it was amazing to see that, two things that I love come together. Shibtoshi being there, the fighter, interacting with the fighters and everything. Overall, it was a great experience for a very net positive. So yeah.
I mean, and you got to think like huge eyes, right? Knowing that, Rogan himself, what I don't want to call him the grandfather of MMA, but I don't know, everybody's favorite uncle in MMA or whatever, him being there and brought, so much exposure and the millions and millions of views that, the event got, within hours of it concluding. I mean, the exposure, was it worth the ROI?
I think we
absolutely.
had record eyeballs. Oh, sorry, Chip. We had
Yeah, go
record
ahead.
eyeballs with these two, but our pink especially looked really good on that mat. Just wanted to say that.
Real men wear pink. I love it. Go ahead, Chip.
I mean, even if even if there was an ROI from it, I think the experience and the content that we got from that was amazing. But the exposure, like Tina said, like that was it. You go into consensus and you look around and what do you see? You see a bunch of crypto project competing for everybody's attention. Everybody's got a booth. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing that. But in karate combat, who do you remember? You remember the pink logos, you remember the pink shirts, you remember GSP talking about this particular cryptocurrency project, over and over again. Like that stands out. And it's recorded and it's reached so many people like online and streaming, like it's ridiculous. So, that just goes to, I mean, we're always looking for different and unique ways to get the brand out there. We several months back, we kind of just been I'm not going to say hibernation mode because we've been obviously building our utilities, but as far as from the marketing side of it, we haven't really had anything to really start gearing up to market and push. You can only go out there and talk about the project and my origin story so many times. And quite frankly, I've talked about my origin story so many times, I get tired of doing it, to be honest with you. So because it's the same thing, same thing over and over and over again. Like, so, gearing up for this now that have our utilities coming and we've been crushing SilentSwap. We've been trying to break it right now. We haven't been successful, but we are just putting it through, every aspect that we can to attention, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling for words, to potentially break it.
Mm-hmm.
gearing up to, going live with it. Like we've got something to talk about now.
Dude,
so instead of me coming up here and say, hey, we're a meme utility token, we've been building for the last 2 years, and then to which everybody says, okay, what do you got? Show me something. Oh, we're still building, Oh yeah, by the way, I'm Shibtoshi. This is my origin story.
Yeah.
People get tired of hearing that. Now it's kind of like a put up, shut up.
Dude,
put up or shut up type of thing. That's how I feel. It is.
Absolutely, 100%. And I am in, at least in my style and what I do, right? Like, I hate the origin story because, like you said, like at this point, like that's what people ask, the same questions. Like, I don't want to know that. Like, if you want to know Shib's origin story and you came here for that, I'm sorry. There's probably a jillion other interviews you can go listen to. We're here to have some
all of them are recorded. So yes, definitely.
So that's cool. We'll bring up. I just want to let everybody know we've got some people that are requesting to come up here. We'll do that. I want to talk to Shib for just a little bit longer, just the two of us about a couple things, and then if people want to pop up here and ask some questions, we can do that in a very controlled manner. If that's all right with you, Shib. And I don't know how much time
absolutely,
we got you
man.
for.
So I have a meeting at 2:30.
Okay, cool.
So I'm good until then.
Okay, and
we can get 2:30 at some point.
2:30 PST. Tina, what was that?
I was asking if we can get SquidGrow the account up at some point.
It's a speaker right now.
It's a speaker. I just gave it a co-host.
Oh, then I'm rugging then, because I still see it as listener. Then I'm rugging. Never mind.
I sent a co-host.
Dang, Elon.
Yeah, we've been having
update it.
Yeah, a little bit of trouble with that. Hopefully, things are moving around. We do know recently we found out, like, if you do the video space, that you can actually change the landscape or portrait mode of your camera if you use a computer. So there are some updates coming.
Go ahead. J-Chains, I want to say, man, I really like the idea of you getting up here and doing these spaces on X, man. Like, this is where it's at, for crypto and, interactions, man. I mean, this is how you network. This is where it is. So, I mean, hell yeah, man.
100%. Hey,
anytime. Web3 breakfast.
Let's go. So that's the morning show. Way too early for you West Coasters. I know it's way too early. So that's why I've been, fooling around with trying to find the perfect time to do the afternoon live stream. And 4 p.m. Is perfect for me over here on the East Coast. So that is fantastic that you guys had the opportunity to show up for this one. I really appreciate your time for today. This has been cool. I want to get into a little bit of what you got coming out with SilentSwap as well, because that to me, swapping in privacy is pretty cool. And I know a lot of people are excited about this.
I can bore you with the amount of time and the amount of things that I can say about SilentSwap, man. Ask me anything about my utilities, like I can, with probably the exception of I can't get super technical with, the NFT marketplace as far as the ins and outs. I can tell you about it, but SilentSwap, that's my brainchild, man. Like, I can tell you everything you want to know about it, as far as, what we have already spoken on publicly, right? Obviously there's some things that we have not disclosed yet because there is competition out there, so a bunch of sharks, but man, let's do it.
What was your inspiration for it? Like, what gave you that, that your baby, that baby brainchild moment?
Well, it was a couple different instances leading up to the final one, but I'll kind of talk about that. So in crypto, I myself and my group of friends, our wallets are just followed all over the place. We can't get into projects, without somebody following us around. We're continuously getting dusted with these damn NFTs, begging for money, malicious links, these dust tokens that track my tracking off and my dollar values. Like, they airdrop you like some stupid amount of money. Like, I've been airdropped probably like $800 billion in some scam token trying to entice me to try to sell it or something. I'm tired of being attacked. I'm tired of my wallets being attacked and dusted. And the main thing about it is, sometimes it's just easier to transfer funds around from a wallet that that you have handy. Maybe you're on your computer and you decide you want to, or maybe you're on your phone and you don't have certain wallets there or whatever it is. So there was an instance where I sent somebody within my inner circle some funds from a wallet that I didn't even think was being tracked. And next thing I know, I sent it to their wallet. They sent it to their internal wallet on the exchange to off ramp it. And next thing you know, all of their wallets that are attached to their internal wallet are being dusted with the same thing. And then there was the NFT, asking essentially, if you were related to Shibtoshi, like who are you in relation to Shibtoshi? Like this is what the NFT said.
Mhm.
And so one of my wallets, essentially doxed a very close member of my inner circle's wallets. And it was around that time that I just realized that like wallets that I don't even think are known, like, are being tracked. And then by proxy, essentially by interaction, I'm connecting friends and family wallets. And that's a problem because, if anybody decides to spend their cryptocurrency somewhere where cryptocurrency is, accepted, that kind of puts them at that in that area,
Mhm.
right? Kind of narrows everything down on the grid of kind of where they're at. And, with that and, always hearing complaints of my friends, trying to move money around and split wallets up, like I started thinking this is something I wanted to do. And I'll be honest with you, and I don't think I've ever publicly said this. At first, the privacy thing that I wanted to build was going to be a privacy wallet. And I don't think I've ever said that. The thing with the wallets is the market is so diluted with different wallets, and
Mhm.
even if you have a privacy layer within that, it might be hard to catch because you have people that are loyal to Phantom, MetaMask, Trust Wallet. Like everybody is loyal to the wallet that they've essentially kind of been using. So
Mhm.
to kind
100%.
of adopt a new wallet is kind of a big deal. And so you know what? We decided that we were going to build a standalone app. So, talking to Cal about it on what I wanted to do, I told him like there was competition. At this point, we were doing our due diligence and our research, and I was briefly speaking to a competitor about acquisitioning them. But at the end of the day, I did not like the way that their platform was put together. And that's because they rely on APIs, centralized exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto. And at the end of the day, for me, if I'm going to put money into something to build, I don't want anybody to have any power over my utility. And what I mean by that is, when you're connected to this exchange, utilizing some of these services, the exchange has the power to revoke your API, which would leave your utility useless, right? It doesn't work. And also, if the exchange decides to delist that privacy token that you're incorporating from their platform, your platform is useless. So, I wanted to build something that was standalone. We weren't relying on anybody, decentralized, trustless, non custodial. Like those were the big selling points. So, we decided to start putting our heads together. We started shopping around. We spoke to IBM, believe it or not, about trying to build this. We have spoken to them previously about building something else for us. And, we were told that from everybody we were talking to couldn't be done. And then the couple dev houses that we did talk to that said they could do it, they just had no freaking idea how to do it, man. Um, so the scope was pretty big. But it was around this time I ran into Aztec from LDA. And they're a marketer for for Polygon and stuff. He's a great guy. I actually had him come out to Texas, and he introduced me to Secret Network. And we jumped on a call with Secret Network, and it was at this time that we had already made the decision that we were going to utilize Secret Network as our privacy layer versus Monero, because originally we were looking at utilizing Monero, but Monero is not very developer friendly,
Right.
right? It's very hard to develop on. That's why everybody that utilizes Monero utilizes the centralized exchanges. Secret Network had the toolkits that we needed to build this, so we got in contact, And I essentially asked their permission to utilize their privacy chain, which is something that, they said I didn't have to do. But I think the respect level that was gained as a result of that, I mean, it was substantial,
Right.
and it has cultivated a very good, very close partnership between us and them. And it was through them that we were introduced to Doggy, who is our lead developer on SilentSwap, and he has, built some things for them in the past as well. So we started putting our heads together, and god dang, like he sorted it out, man. Like, when it comes to building apps and utilities, like, most of the time, you get your deliverables and you've not seen it working. The devs say it worked. And then you start testing, like prime example, well, I'll get into it later, but usually the dev swears it works. You get it fired up and deployed, and you can't get it to work. And they're like, oh, it's the environment that your computer's running on, and it's this and it's that. And no, dude, it doesn't work. Like, that's the, when Doggy fired it up and he started sending videos of it, I was like, okay, but I want to play on it. And the first time I did a transfer on it, man, like, I was on a call with my dad, so I was like, holy shit, it's optimizing. Oh, it's bridging. Like, I was so excited. Like, oh, swapping the secret network right now. Holy shit. Okay. And I was just so excited. And, the fact that SilentSwap, is the only application that we have ever built that, like, I specified exactly what it is I wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have to deter from that at all. Like, we built it exactly to how I wanted. Like I said, in the early days, it was originally, we were talking about a privacy wallet that evolved into what SilentSwap is. And the way that we built SilentSwap is we can generate static APIs and incorporate that. So if we ever decide to, build a wallet down the road, not saying that we are, but if we decide to, I can give that wallet a privacy layer, because I can just, incorporate the API into it. Now all of a sudden our wallet has this privacy layer to it, or a DEX, or whatever we want to do. We can incorporate SilentSwap into everything that we build.
Yeah. Listen, I think the privacy aspect of it is massive, right? And like why? And it's like almost one of the forgotten arts of what crypto is, and one of its kind of intended purposes is for you kind of like not have to be fully transparent with everything, and with all of this regulation and all the other bullshit that we're facing, I feel like privacy is one of those things, and you could argue the no matter what you try to decide to, right? Like your travel, right? Like I've given up my privacy because I use Clear and I have TSA pre-check, right? Like, so they scan my eyeballs, my fingerprints, whatever, but it makes the process easier, right? So, so we're building these systems, I think, in place to make crypto easier for people to use and understand, and we're forgetting about some of the privacy aspects. And I love that that's something that is going to be a focus of what you guys got, because that's a pillar to some of the people that have been in the space a little bit longer. I mean, that's one, again, it's like a forgotten art in crypto.
I mean, absolutely, man. I mean, I think the first thing that a lot of people are drawn to in crypto, and I can't speak for everybody, honestly, but I can speak to myself, is, in the early days of Bitcoin, 2011, or actually when I started looking into Bitcoin in 10, but I deemed it to be illegal. I wish I would have came to another conclusion, because I would have got in a couple months earlier. But the privacy, the anonymous aspect of it, right? Like, oh, you've got essentially this bank account on chain, and like nobody knows who you are. Like, it's just anonymous. Like, that's cool, right? Like, nobody knows, it's not tied to your name. But when you get to a point where everybody knows that this is your particular wallet, it doesn't matter where you're moving your funds to or whatever you're doing, because everybody knows that it's you. So having that privacy, is kind of a big deal, and I don't want to be a broken record, but like, when you're doing Zelle transactions or Venmo transactions, Cash App transactions, like, you don't want the world to see who you're paying. Like, you paid $25 for a haircut, or, whatever it is. Like, you don't want to air that, or, you covered 50% of a dinner bill with somebody or whatever, you don't want you don't want how you're spending your money to be public. And, well, the way that cryptocurrency is going, I think it is, I mean, it's already being incorporated and adopted, but when it's like incorporated even further and there's more people accepting more and more types of cryptocurrency, I think people will be utilizing crypto a little more heavily to pay for everyday things.
Yep.
And, if you go to the grocery store, you don't want, somebody to know that you spent, $250 at a Target, like in this particular area, like, because at this point in time, I'm sure like, the addresses of different companies and stuff will probably be very easy to find and known, like, the areas that those locations are. So, you don't want people to know your movement. So, coming out with something like this, I think is very beneficial. And I think, this upcoming bull run, we're already seeing an uptick in these LARP utility tokens, right? There's these tokens that are launching. They're saying they're doing this, they're doing that. They don't do anything. They got these elaborate roadmaps. So I think that people are starting to understand that like utilities is kind of how you sustain a project.
Yes.
And we were ahead of that 2 years ago. But building quality things does take time. So it's not like we're just sitting over here twiddling our thumbs talking about doing what we're actually doing. It takes time. And I'm a perfectionist, but I do understand that nothing we will ever do will be perfect. There's always going to be room for improvement, but the market and crypto is always evolving. And like, I'll give you an example. In between when we got our audit back with hacking, we scored a 10 on it, to when it was submitted, there was something that came out that allowed us to do transactions across chains in seconds versus, just having to wait for the block finality. On Ethereum, it's like 15 to 30 minutes. So, in between the time we submitted it and the time that our audit came out, there was a company that came out with something that allowed us to, send transactions even faster. So, we obviously decided, what, we want to debut our platform with that. So we pulled it to make improvements. I think it's, but my point is, in just the period of, a month and a half, the crypto space has evolved and now is offering this service to those that can find it. And, so we took the liberties to incorporate it instead of like saving it for V2. But the space is always evolving. So it's always about trying to put out the absolute latest and greatest stuff that we possibly can. And, things like that take time. But,
Right.
I'm super happy. I've been testing SilentSwap pretty much every night for the last 2 weeks, with the exception of like, I think 3 days where somebody on the not osmosis, excuse me, on I think it was Shade Protocol. I can't recall. It was the Cosmos chain is what it was, but there was a DDoS attack that was occurring on osmosis or Shade or the Cosmos. I can't require which, but anyway, essentially it was slowing our transactions down on the Cosmos chains so much that we couldn't even get transactions out because he was very openly talking about it. And this was a white hat hacker type of guy who was very closely related to that privacy chain and was just trying to demonstrate, hey, you're vulnerable to DDoS attack. But anyway, it set us back like three days because we absolutely just could not get any testing in because the whole network was slow. But with the exception of that, man, we're cracking away. And we've got our closed beta going on right now within the team. And then, we will, kick it to audit and open it up to a little wider variety in the audience, of people that are close to us.
Dude, that's awesome.
But, I mean, it's just, I can talk about SilentSwap forever, man. I mean, there's so many features that I haven't even spoke about, that SilentSwap has. It's just like, I'm very happy. I mean, it's all stuff that I've said before, but privacy is where it's at. And I think everybody deserves privacy, whether it's in, the Web 2 space or the Web 3 space. Like, I think it's a right that we have. And, fundamentals of blockchain is obviously everything is public, everything's on chain, with the exception of a couple, privacy chains. But yeah, that's cool that everything's public, but just because you want a little privacy doesn't mean you're doing anything malicious or you're doing anything criminal, right? So,
Right.
people, I've heard in the past, like, well, why do you want your transactions to be private? Well, would you want your Venmo transactions aired for the whole world to see that you paid fucking Tom $100 for, whatever? No,
No,
you don't want that. So, I mean, we're entitled to it. So let's grab it.
I like that. I know that I want to get to some of our community members that are gonna. I want to ask some questions, but I have one final question myself. I've got several, but this one is very important to me. It is Friday in my house. We have every pizza every Friday. Excuse me. And so, with that being said, what is your pizza order? What is your go-to?
Oh man. Oh, dude. I do half pepperoni, half Hawaiian. I mean,
Okay.
that's me. I'm a Hawaiian pizza guy. There was a long-standing debate within my community about how nasty it was and this, that, and the other. But the person it was with, like, had never even tried it, and he tried it and still wasn't impressed. But yeah, I'm a pepperoni guy. I always do half pepperoni, half Hawaiian, and that's the Shibtoshi pizza order.
There you go. There you go. I know that pineapple on your pizza is controversial. I know this, especially here in crypto for whatever reason. But I'm a fan. I don't do it normally, but if I do get a Hawaiian, it's normally I will substitute the ham for double pepperoni, and that's I'll get my pork and pineapple that way. Is just do double pep and pineapple. But
Try a squid
Absolutely.
next time.
I will. Hey,
Try
listen,
what? Try what?
the
Squid?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
squid on pizza. I don't know. I mean, for the content, right? For I would do that for the content.
Yeah.
I would do that for you. I would eat a squid pizza. I don't know the symbolism. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I would do that for the content. But I know that I wouldn't like it.
Daniel Mancata, he was one of the actors in Breaking Bad. He's a friend of the project, and he put out a video eating, like, I'm not sure it was a squid, maybe it was an octopus, but he just freaking just like whole whatever it was, just chomped the crap out of it and put a video up here on X. And I was like, that's right, man. Like, for the cause.
There you
But
go.
yeah.
Oh, I'm glad he did it so that none of us have to. I would have done it, but I'm glad somebody's already done it. Shout out to Daniel. I like Daniel. Daniel's a good guy.
Yeah.
I used to make that pizza all the time. I used to make a calamari pizza. It was so good.
Never had it.
As a follow-up, what's your favorite steak?
Oh, dude. What's up, Paul? Dude, I mean, I'm primarily a filet mignon guy, but if I have the ability to go to the restaurant and they have like Japanese Wagyu, as you know, that is my shit right there. Like, I'll tell you a quick story real quick, not to bore anybody. In New York, obviously, Evergrow Paul was with me, and Evergrow Sam, and my security team in Huntsman, and we go out to dinner, and I tell everybody to get what they want to get. I make my recommendation. I suggest the Japanese Wagyu. Some of my security team got the big lobster plates or whatever, but all of my boys, we all got steaks, and everybody got Wagyu except for Paul. Paul got his little, $60 whatever it was. What kind of steak was it, Paul?
Mignon. I'm a filet mignon guy.
Yeah.
And always,
Yeah.
we had steaks 3 nights in a row, and I go filet mignon. I mean, this is me, and I never.
I mean, I'm on the carnivore diet, so that's all I eat, anyways, is meat. But yeah, so Paul gets this little $60 steak, and he's happier than a pig in the sunshine over there, just eating his steak. We're all just like our steaks come out, and we just bite into it, and we're like, oh my god, this is so good. So a little while later, Sam Evergrow and myself offered Paul, some of our steak, because he's over there just eating like a filet mignon. And I'll never forget it in my entire life. I give him a piece of my steak, and he puts it in his mouth. And how I interpret it to be immediate disappointment and regret for his choice in steak was like just all over his face. He was like, oh my God, this is so good. It's melting in my mouth right now. And I'll never in my entire life forget that, because he looked like somebody stole his lunch money. Like he looked like, you know, he had just been robbed. And then he tried a piece of Sam steak and it was just amplified. And I'm like, dude, I fucking told you, man.
I'm like, how can steak
Wagyu.
be like butter? I was like, how can it be like butter melting in your mouth or whatever? Like, I was like, never even heard of it. I'm not a big foodie. It was absolutely crazy, and you couldn't explain that. I knew that's why I asked that question. You got stories. I guess you kind of had to be there, but it's still so funny that
I will never forget his face ever. Like his face was like very memorable. I still laugh about it today. Like,
why did I get this on? Like I could have got that, you know, but I didn't know any better. Now next time he was like,
well,
yes.
next time we make the recommendation, you know, you should take it.
I know, yeah. Because if I don't like this, like I'm gonna be stuck with it, and it's this much money and this and that. So it's kind of like, you know, I was hungry. We were all hungry at the time. Obviously, we were waiting,
starving.
So it's like I don't want to get something I'm not gonna like. And anyway,
hey,
yeah, good times.
Sometimes you just got to get the Wagyu. Mr. Dude, what's up, my guy?
Yeah, what's going on? Thanks for bringing me up, Jay. Pleasure to meet you there, Shibtoshi. Man, just want to say a couple things. Like, first of all, the way you talk about your projects and stuff, like, you were made to do this, man. Like, great job just representing everything you do. I am, like, hooked on this stuff. I've also been talking to Aztec in the background about a few things, so it's cool. He's such a dope guy. My question is in this. Okay, can you be – so we, like, run a launch pad for meme coins – blah, blah, right? But we KYC people. Can you be KYC'd and with some of the tech you were talking about also have or implement that layer of privacy? Because I totally agree with all your shit. Like, people shouldn't know your minor transactions, but if you have like a KYC program to prove everyone's human or whatever, then like, can you insert that in there as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, obviously our platform itself, obviously we don't do KYC, but yeah, I mean, our tech can be incorporated into anything that, you know, has the ability to incorporate an API. So it can be incorporated anywhere. It can be incorporated in launchpads, DEXs, swaps, wallets. You know, I mean, you just essentially, we generate an API for the particular project and they incorporate that into that platform. And now you have a privacy layer.
That is awesome. I will. I'll be in Nashville with Jay Chain, so we can talk about this for sure.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Let me ask you a question about, you know, this is one of the things that you know, I was thinking about while we were talking, and, you know, and you kind of alluded to it with, you know, some of the meme coins that really don't provide a whole lot of value, right? Do you think that that is hurting our ecosystem? You know, we've already had a bruised record, you know, as far as the public's concerned, and, you know, the media has never really done a really good job of painting crypto, you know, in the public eye as a good thing. And now we've got this, you know, insanity that's happening with, you know, celebrities rugging their projects, all that stuff. Do you think, what do we need to do in order to clean this up to give, you know, projects like what, you know, SquidGrow is the more of the legitimacy that it deserves than, you know, the DJT or with some of the other bullshit that's happening?
So real quick, so Forbes just started taking note of this. So Forbes just recently started writing articles about meme tokens with utility, like not just like, you know, bullshit utility, like actual utility. And so I think, you know, people are starting to take note, but as far as trying to clean it up, there's nothing that we can really do to deter like anybody from launching a project that has bad intentions. But is it hurting our ecosystem? Absolutely, because what it's doing is, you know, these bad actors are launching these tokens and people are investing their money, and instead of like making gains and taking that liquidity into other projects and spreading it around the ecosystem, they're just getting rugged. So all that liquidity is being stolen to essentially one person, and they're just kind of stockpiling it. So, you know, I mean, I can understand, like, you know, the struggles of trying to find a trustworthy project, because I myself, Shibtoshi, you know, came onto the scene 2 years ago. I didn't have a reputation as Shibtoshi, right? I was a nobody, right? I mean, I had this elaborate story that a lot of people didn't believe, and so there was no trust attached to my name. So like I understand it. Like it's a struggle to kind of like do your due diligence on a project and kind of decide who you're going to go with, as far as entrusting the space as a whole when it comes to these meme tokens that are launching. Like somebody just told me, like, I think last night there had been like in the last month, like 400,000 meme tokens launched on the Solana chain. And like, I don't remember the rug.
I think it's like 2 million.
Well, within the last month.
Some stupid number,
okay.
some absolutely you may be right.
Yeah,
you may be closer in the last month, but
maybe it was 400 rugs on Solana. Probably. It was something like that. But the amount of liquidity that is being robbed from the space is definitely hindering the space as a whole, because instead of spreading that liquidity around, it's being lost. And people don't stand a chance. Like, you can be involved in a project that looks like it's going to do something, straight meme token, or we've been seeing a lot of like LARPs on utility tokens right now. But they attract new investors and they just rob them blind, and it's definitely hurting the community. And then you got these celebrities that are launching tokens that have no fucking idea what cryptocurrency probably even is, but they're just launching a coin and they have no idea like what to do with the liquidity, what to do with the tokens, like accidentally selling a large portion supposedly on the chart, like, so it just comes down to doing due diligence and making educated decisions when it comes to your money. And when you find projects like that, or any project at all, like, my only suggestion I would give to anybody is you never invest more than you can afford to lose. If you can't throw that money into a fire and continue to live without losing sleep, don't do it.
Yep.
Yep. No,
if you are, go ahead.
Real quick on that. Action here from Action Crypto. Aaron told me to say that every time I speak.
What's up, Action?
So here's the deal. I think that more people need to understand that trust is really the product of promises kept. Like, that's basically what trust is, right? I know that you came into the space without, anybody knowing who you were, with just this supposedly made up story. But as you've been here, as you fulfilled promises that you made, that's what creates that trust that people can come back and say, you know what? Yep, I'm behind SquidGrow. They're creating things that are actually real, that have value. Until we get to that, to that place where people, stop following into just random stuff and start looking at what are people actually doing. Can I trust them? We're in for a world of hurt, unfortunately, especially with new people coming in. And it's really refreshing to have people like you that we can actually trust, that follow through with what they're going to say, that they do what they're going to say they're going to do. So like, I think that's where we're at. And it's just like refreshing, man, honestly, just because we need more of, I actually do want more meme coins, but we need more meme coins that do what SquidGrow does, that actually follows through with creating things and creates value from the holders, from the community that's supporting it.
I absolutely agree with that. Like, I love my meme coins too. Like, primarily I'm a blue chip trader, right? That's that. If you ask me kind of any given day, I have many conversations with Paul as far as like what I'm buying. I accumulate blue chips. I do dabble in the DeFi level. Obviously, I'm one of my most notable trades is obviously a meme token. But, I like to dabble into memes just like everybody else. It's not so much to try to, obviously make money. I love the adrenaline rush of it because I come from a gambling background. Like, I'm a poker player, right? I play Texas Hold'em. And so like perpetual trading, it gives me that adrenaline of like being at the poker table, like, oh, what's going to be on the river? Like, am I going to win this hand? Like, kind of very similarly applied to the crypto space. So I love my meme coins just like everybody else in the space, but I think that having a nice, fun name and logo is not enough to sustain the project, unless you're one of the 1%ers that just freaking, run to billions real quick and, you've got all this massive backing and stuff. But when that initial hype falls to the wayside, what does that meme token have to fall back on? They don't have anything, right? So there's no utility, there's no value add, does nothing for the community. The only upward momentum that the community is going to see in the chart is if more people are attracted to the project. And if that hype has already came and went, it's very unlikely. So that value add that you bring to the community for me is the utility side of it. And I think more and more, supposed meme tokens that are launching are kind of realizing that like, hey, we got to do something more than just have this fun, playful logo. We got to add value to the community in some capacity. So I think, we're seeing a lot more of these meme tokens just coming to the realization that, hey guys, we're going to build this utility.
Mm-hmm.
But, we were realizing that 2 years ago. So, I definitely agree with you, Action. But
how does the how does the community help you guys? Like, do you take the feedback that you get from your community? Do you like put that into any kind of development for what SquidGrow is putting together? Is that kind of how it works? Like when you hear a bunch of people saying like, hey, this would be cool, you like, all right, let's see if the devs can make it happen?
We definitely do not take every suggestion that we are getting. Every suggestion I am given, I do always forward it to my dev team. Whether I feel like it's a good idea or not, there's a lot of suggestions that we get are just like don't align with us. Like, we get a lot of requests to do a game, right? I'm not a gamer. I've never been a gamer. So it's hard for me to.
That's why we get along, bro.
Yeah. So I don't have an interest in that. What I'm trying to build is I'm trying to build utilities that actually are useful and can be mass adopted. So if I put out a game, J Chains, you're not going to play that game. People like you aren't going to play that game. Why would you? You're not a gamer. There is a lot of gamers in the space that would utilize that game, but we're trying to build for the entire space. So whether you're a gamer or you're not a gamer, we're trying to put out tech that actually is useful and helpful and solves solutions. Now, not in every case do our utilities solve solutions, but that is our primary focus of putting utilities out that actually solve problems. And so to go back to your question, yes, our DMs are always open on suggestions, and there has been times that I have incorporated suggestions into utilities that we are building or have built or added. But we do always take it into consideration, but at the end of the day, we have the best interest of the community in mind and the project as a whole. So, some of these suggestions that we get, is just kind of geared towards immediate chart action.
Yeah.
And the way that I read that is, okay, so I implement this, I give you the immediate chart action, and then you exit.
You're gonna
right?
G. Yeah. Exactly.
So we're looking to build long-term sustainability. That's what we're doing. So yeah, it's taken a little time to build some of these utilities, but if these utilities catch on, like we are confident that they will, that is long-term sustainability, because we are building something that the masses will utilize whether they're in our ecosystem or not. And that's also why, our branding is completely separate from SquidGrow. Like we don't call SilentSwap something associated with SquidGrow or our NFT marketplace, the SquidGrow market. Yeah, exactly. Because we're, essentially like putting up a wall from everybody else. Like Evergrow, Paul, right? If we had like SquidGrow swap or something, the Evergrow community is not going to come use our spot or our swap. Like if we didn't have the relationship between our communities that we do, it's very unlikely that somebody else's community is going to come over and utilize our tech, whether it's good or not. But if you kind of brand it separately as kind of its own entity, they might not even know they're utilizing one of our utilities. And by directly utilizing it, they're benefiting our community. So, that's kind of where our mindset is on that. But yeah, I mean, we definitely are open to suggestions. My DMs are always open. And when I have a proposal or a suggestion, I always forward it to Cal, which is my lead developer on the EVM side.
All right.
But
the official SquidGrow podcast coming soon. Maybe I'll.
That's right. Hey, real quick, J Chains, Paul, I saw you had your hand up earlier, man. What you got?
Well, I just want to add to a couple things you said, and I know we talked about this in the background, but one thing you just said is about the separate branding. We obviously do that, with us also. There's also people in the community that, have, and this is what they don't understand and why these spaces are important to explain why you're doing this. We've had, whales sell because we didn't call it Evergrow wallet or whatever. But, the explanation behind it is, you like you said, another community is not going to use that wallet. So it's only going to go to your community. You want it to go to everybody. So you make a different brand, so that's where they can promote it and do this and that. Kind of like a trust wallet, even though Binance owns it, they don't call it Binance wallet. It's a different entity. So unless it's explained, we've had so many people, not so many, we've had, whales sell at the beginning because it's not called, after Evergrow because it thought the price was going to tank. Something I want to touch on earlier that Action mentioned is I think it's tough. One, I think SquidGrow is highly undervalued. There's a lot of projects out there that are undervalued immensely and, are good buying opportunities. There's a lot of them out there. SquidGrow is one of them, I think, so much. The thing is, it takes time to build and everything. And there's so many people in this space, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of money and can dabble. There's people that, don't, and they keep going from meme coin to meme coin, but they want that, like you said, that fast action because a lot of people crypto are gamblers and this, maybe like 80% of them, maybe more. And it's hard for them to wait, a couple years for stuff to take shape, for stuff to, really start to come out, not just little stuff, like the bigger stuff. And it's hard for people to hold that long because they're like, oh, I could take this money and put this meme coin, triple it, and then buy back in later, and sometimes they end up losing that. And they're like, oh shit, this happens all the time, back and forth. And that's something which Action mentioned is, with all these meme coins going, it's hard for people to hold for a while. It's hard for me to hold for a while sometimes, but you have to look at the fundamentals of a project. And if you're in it for the long term or not, and it just sucks, in the past, even it started in 2021 or 2020, is, people want that fast money. People always want that fast money. We all do.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want fast money? You know what I mean? But, like I said, Shib could have probably done it and, brought it up to 100, 200 million, with some meme. But if he doesn't create anything after that, like you said, it's just going to go.
That's not even getting going though. You know what I mean? Like,
whatever, get up to $1 billion. Like we got up to 1.5, and next thing you know, we should all the way back down after the thing. But it takes time to build.
In 4 weeks, you did that, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, we got lucky timing and everything like that. But even that after that, it takes time to build. If we just put out regular stuff, no one's gonna stay. They'll go over like we're just like you trying to create something long, and that's why you got to look for these projects that are undervalued so you can buy in early and reap the benefits later and know that you will. But it's hard to hold that long. We all know this. Maybe not for someone like you because you have some money to dabble around. A lot of people don't have that, or they take their whole chunk and put it there. Their whole chunk and put it there. It's difficult in this time with everyone, the degens and all this kind of stuff, and they want to wait until the price pumps and everything. I like to get just like you. I like to get in early and then wait a little bit.
Yeah,
it's just better.
Dollar cost averaging is a powerful thing, man. Huge. I mean, it really is. Huge. I've been dollar cost averaging on Bitcoin since I started buying Bitcoin, and I've just been allowed to accumulate so much. I don't care if I'm buying, at 70K or if I'm buying at, 68K or whatever it is. It's not going to matter a year from now, a year and a half from now. I'm not going to care what my entry was. I'm just accumulating. I mean, that's a certain level of conviction. And I'm not going to lie. When my Bitcoin portfolio first pumped into, the millions, like I was like, damn, man, like, if I exit this position right now, like I'm set, but it's just me, my life's set, not my kids' lives, not my parents' lives, not all my siblings, it's generational wealth is where it's at, not just, I mean, you gotta make your mark on the space. Go ahead.
What takes because that's one of the biggest things. I know a lot of us have PTSD. So let me ask you a question that just goes right to that. When you're like, all right, like, I've got a target and you've got to hold through some. And the example that I make is, someone who, and everybody's heard the story, right, where they invested $1,000 and turned it into like, I don't know, 100 million or whatever, whatever the crazy story is. And like, all right, so like, my number was, at one point like 2.5 million, and that jumped up to a little bit higher now. Like but at some point, right, like when your investment gets to like 10 million, you're like, oh, okay, like that's awesome. I could sell that and be huge, but like really, I need 100. So I've got the conviction. It's just we're gonna let it ride. And then now, like at 50 million, like I'm almost passing out right now, like thinking like if I don't sell this right now, like I'm gonna lose it all. Right. So what gives you that conviction to say, fuck it, man, we ride, like we're going for this number because that's what we're going for?
Well, I think, there's a couple ways that you can set your targets, right? You can set your eyes on a target within, a margin. And if you get up into that range, you can completely, exit your position. If you set a goal, you hold to it. I think the smarter play is no matter what you're investing in, you can always pull profit, on the way up, because if you have true conviction in whatever it is that you're buying, 9 times out of 10 the price will come back down and you can reaccumulate more with profits that you've pulled out. But it just comes down to, I don't get it right 100% of the time that I invest in things either. I've lost some big money on things that I thought were like a slam dunk, and I've also thrown money into things just because I was talked into it, and it ended up being very lucrative. But when it just kind of comes down to your gut feelings and stuff. But everybody has that PTSD. So I think, when you have the opportunity to pull your initial investment out, you should definitely pull your initial investment out. So you at least have that. So now you're playing with house money, right? And then as that position continues to grow in value, you slow pull profits, on the way up. And if you decide that you're committed to the project, you kind of dollar cost average on the way down. I'll give you an example of dollar cost average. There was a project I was there when the contract was dropped from the developer, and I FOMO'd into it. And by the time I FOMO'd into it, I was buying Slum Doge myself and my whole little group of friends. We're buying at $4 or $5 million market cap, and then it comes crashing down, and we're like, oh shit, it's over with, this, that, and the other. But no, it fell down to 400,000. I started dollar cost averaging into that position hard, and when it ran up to 30 million market cap, I'm in substantial profit right now, because although I went in heavy at 4 or 5 million, I started going in just as heavy at the lower market cap, dollar cost averaging my position, accumulating more, and when it ran, like I was in extreme profit.
Oh yeah.
So it just kind of comes down to, who's associated with the project. Do you buy what the developer is talking about? Is there any kind of level of trust? Are they being transparent in what it is that they're doing? Is the liquidity locked? That's a big thing. Does the treasury have tokens? What are they doing with the tokens? Are they talking about it? Do you believe what they're talking about? Because a lot of rugs that are occurring nowadays, it's not the developers pulling liquidity. They're fucking buying up supply and then dumping on everybody's head. So it's an unseen thing because they hold positions in other wallets that are just not known. So, I would, it just depends on it's situational, right? Like who's involved, do you buy what they're saying? And, you just gotta be smart with, investing into things. So, don't obviously invest your life savings into anything. Unless you truly believe in what it is that you are buying into.
Yeah, well, it's the 2 rules. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and don't marry your bags. And I've got this thesis, and I'd like to talk to some more people about this soon, about what how it's almost like the NFT bros have infiltrated crypto and taken that whole community aspect and mindset, right, and brought it into this investment class to where now, listen, and I'm all for this. I just think that what we're seeing is the world of investing, the landscape changing right before our own eyes, maybe making it facilitating this more acceptable, right? So think about this, right? We always teach people don't marry your bags, right? But now we're getting into these meme coin communities where we're spending all day together. We're in the Discord, we're in the Telegram, we're in the voice chats, the spaces, all that stuff. How the fuck do you not get married to your bags when these people become your friends, right? And so we're like, times are changing, and so it's really interesting how, again, where we have these part of the conversation where it's like all right, we've got to find the projects that have staying power, because those are not the turn and burns. Those are not the pump and dumpers. These are the ones that are going to come into our crypto ecosystem. And again, it's changing right before our eyes. And I love to see it, because it's a group mentality where we're coming together. And this is how I fell in love with NFTs, was how people come together, and you have like these, whether it's a trade group or whatever it ends up being, where now you're making friends and your community grows because you found more like-minded individuals.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a Cardano diehard last night, actually, and he is just 100% Cardano, doesn't care about anything else. And we were talking about his ups and downs and the whole family aspect of the community, right? He's involved in the community, and he feels like he's betraying everybody, if he was to pull some profit. And I can understand that mentality, but at the end of the day, whoever's to the left or the right of you in the community, everybody's there to make money. So regardless if they're telling you they're doing it or not, 9 times out of 10, the person you're talking to is pulling profit, if not dumping on your head. So with that mentality, like, you have to be mindful of that. Like, people don't just get involved in these communities because it's a social place to hang out. There is a financial aspect to it, right? They invested a piece of their financial stability into this ecosystem, and have grown, cultivated friendships and so on and so forth. But I don't think it's a betrayal at all if you pull profits respectfully. There's a difference from slow polling. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits to slow polling versus exiting a position, because market cap to liquidity ratio, price impact. And, slow polling is the way to go about it. And also, you're not just like dumping on your friends, you're slow polling. I mean, they're probably doing it as well. So I understand the whole camaraderie of like family and, friendship and so on and so forth. But, a lot of people in the space, they don't just get involved in a community because they just, want to lock some money up for a while, and in a lot of cases, watch their investments fly to the top and then crash down to the bottom. And then, they just kind of start over. But surprisingly, there's a lot of people in this space that have cultivated relationships because they had that bond where they were in a project, they wrote it up, they wrote it back down, and then they found another project, and it's rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
I think pulling profit is a very responsible thing to do. It's the whole reason why people are kind of investing into crypto anyway. I mean, BlackRock's accumulating Bitcoin. Why do you think they're accumulating Bitcoin? Because they love, the Bitcoin community, no, they're doing it because it's an investment, because they know Bitcoin's going to make them money. It's kind of the same principle for everything else. So, I think that, forming bonds and friendships and family type mentalities, I mean, that's great. Like, you can make some solid ass friends in this space, but just know that everybody's here to make money. So, dollar cost averaging into projects that you believe in, also realizing profits, is a very smart thing to do. And I recommend it. I myself do it. I don't sit here and pretend like, I don't sell Bitcoin. I mean, Gary Cardone was giving me a hard time at Karate Combat because he's like, who would be selling Bitcoin right now? And I said, well, shit, I just sold Bitcoin last night. He's like, why would you do that? So, people have that diamond hand mentality, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have my assets that I diamond hand as well. Just, not for any particular reason, not because I love the community or the developers or whatever it is. I don't know, maybe I just enjoy the screenshots, that I accumulate over the years of my different values. But, I think, realizing some gains here and there. I mean, that's why we invest into crypto, right? We invest into crypto to make more money or to get our financial freedom started. So
that's
not to go on a tangent, but
no, you're good, brother. No, that was absolutely good. Does anybody have any other questions? I know, we have you for a few more minutes, but I know that, sometimes you want to get out of the saddle before you get right back in. So we'll wrap this thing up in just a few minutes, but was it Postmaster? Did you have a question?
Yeah, Shibtoshi, great advice, dude. I share the exact same advice with the people that listen to my X Spaces. It was great meeting you at Consensus 2024 there. You had a great showing. Your whole team were super awesome, man. Had an awesome time with you. Hope to see you out at Tennessee there, and hopefully you'll make my fight too in Shanghai. That'll be IFC 4. My question for you, bro, I'm a huge freaking fan of cross-chain DEXs. That's the future, bro. Let's fucking cut those centralized exchanges the fuck out of here, and let's fucking do this full decentralization. And for you to use the ZK technology or whatever you're using for private swaps, dude, fucking here's a A-cutter, man, bro. This is what fucking Bitcoin and crypto is all about, baby. SquidGrow, dude. Paul, you were saying it. You hit it on that fucking nail. This thing is so undervalued. I'm looking at this chart going, what is going on here? Like, this is like a $50 million project.
I can tell you what's going on. We are being pillaged by early investors and arbitrage. That's what's going on to an extent.
Oh, man,
I mean, it sucks. We are criminally undervalued, but you know, it doesn't change anything for us. People get in, like we talked about. People pull profit. Some people do it a little more recklessly than others, but you know, it's crypto. It is what it is. You can't fault or get mad at anybody. But anyway, back to your question.
Yeah, man, it's great for the people in this room right now. Great opportunity for everybody listening right now. My question for you is, I'm like a project partnerships lead for a couple different projects. Just wondering, what's your listing process going to be like? And providing liquidity, is there going to be rewards in SquidGrow for liquidity providers on that exchange? What
utility are you referring to?
Sorry, on your exchange, what's the listing process to get a token listed? Like, we just message your team, and is there a fee to get listed, or is there a vetting process for that?
Are you referring to SGS, which is our DEX, or SGX, which is our perpetual exchange?
The cross-chain aggregator, I guess.
Okay, SilentSwap. Okay, so SilentSwap's not really a DEX. It's just a privacy cross-chain aggregator. So essentially, to like get incorporated into that, we have to get you incorporated into Axler. So you know that it would require Axler to make a liquidity pair. We don't directly handle liquidity. I have injected my own liquidity into Shade and Osmosis so that the platform will work within the tolerances that we want it to work. But as far as like having your token incorporated into SilentSwap, you know, we are all of EVM compatible, so we are tapped into PancakeSwap, Uniswap, but there is not a privacy layer in that aspect of things. The way that could essentially be utilized, let's say for your token, is we can't actually, unless you have a liquidity pair on secret, we can't actually move your tokens through our platform intact without having a liquidity pair on there. So essentially how it would work, if you're trying to utilize our platform with your token and trying to move like tokens from wallet A to wallet B, is unless you're incorporated into Axler, it would require a sell and then a buyback on the other chain. So essentially how it would work is you initiate the process with your token. That token is sold for stablecoin, and then we buy it, you know, or the platform buys it on the other end and sends those tokens to another wallet, breaking the connection. So we can't move your tokens intact through our platform unless you're incorporated into the liquidities on the secret chain, to answer your question. But you know, I mean, that as of now, that is the only two ways that a token can move intact through our platform, is if there is a liquidity pair in the secret, the Cosmos ecosystem. Otherwise, it would require a buy and a sell, which a lot of projects don't want to encourage. You know what I mean?
Shout out to my guy Carrie.
Perfect, man.
My guy Carrie is all about the Cosmos ecosystem. I don't know if he's in the crowd or not, but shout out to Carrie. What was that post?
No, just saying thank you for answering that question for me. It clears things up for me there.
Yeah.
And then providing liquidity on your just the DEX there. Is there rewards for that in SquidGrow?
No, we discontinued our staking program with SquidGrow like a little over a year ago. So we don't really utilize our DEX. The primary usage of SGS is we are tapped into PancakeSwap and Uniswap. We do have the ability to seed liquidity with another project if we wish to do so, but the way that the platform was built, we can do one or the other, and it's really not required, because if you have liquidity on you know, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, what is it? QuickSwap. You know, you're essentially already listed on our platform. So there's not really a requirement. The DEX is not something that we are really, we primarily built SGS, our DEX/swap, to just give our users a place to interact. We don't have a fee on there outside of the standard fee of PancakeSwap, Uniswap. It's not like really, you know, a revenue generating utility for us. It was just kind of build something like all the other projects that have a swap or a DEX. It's just a saturated market, and there's nothing really unique about it other than, you know, the slippage amounts that is required to buy our token are kind of like already fixed in there. Obviously, you can adjust it up or down, but a lot of users that are finding our token, they have issues trying to figure out the slippage amounts. So obviously we advertise what the slippage amounts are, but you know, if you use our platform, the slippage amount's already there. And obviously you can, you know, if you want to scale it down, you can do so. But you know, it's more so to just give our community a place to, you know, interact with our token, but you can buy all other tokens as well. You know, in the early days of SGS, you could only purchase tokens that I listed there myself. But now with the revamp that we did on it, now obviously you can buy all tokens that are essentially have liquidity on PancakeSwap or Uniswap. So, you know, it's not required to get liquidity. But speaking about liquidity, we have Nox Locker. If you're looking to lock liquidity, and Nox Locker is our own liquidity locker and token vesting platform. And you know, it wasn't one of those utilities that we planned on building, but to be quite frankly, we do the beginning of our life, I locked our liquidity for 12 months. And very early on, I realized that we had to do a contract migration, but we were bound to the liquidity lock, right? We can't migrate contracts without our liquidity. And, you know, so now we lock our liquidity in 3-month intervals, which is pretty standard for projects, because it allows you the ability to, you know, access to your liquidity if you need to do a migration or whatever. But I got tired of losing 1% of my liquidity every time I do a lock and relock. So we decided to build our own platform. And although Nox Locker can be a revenue generating utility, in most cases, you know, I just whitelist the project and allow them a free lock on our platform, because it's a win-win. You know, they're not getting charged a fee to lock their liquidity. They're not losing anything. We're accumulating more liquidity, which is better for us to get incorporated into like DEX tools and things like that. So it actually shows that liquidity is locked with us. So I will say that as of now, we are not incorporated into DEX tools, although we've been in conversation with them for about 6 months. It's a very slow process. But, you know, I mean, when it comes to liquidity, there's that option. But as far as the DEX, seeding liquidity within our DEX, although it can be done, you know, it's not needed, to be honest with you. We just built it in a manner that we have the ability to do one or the other or both, but it's not really required. You know, it's not really needed. If you have liquidity already on those DEXs, you're already there.
You're good to go. Well, dude, hell yeah, man. That was awesome. All right, we got 2 hands. We'll finish with these last 2. We'll go Action and then Jacob, and then we'll do some final thoughts and then get on out of here. It's pizza night for me, and I got to go eat some pizza. Damn it.
That's right.
Action, what you got?
I want to try that. I want to try the calamari pizza. Like, no joke. Actually, that's actually sounds pretty good.
No.
But yeah, real quick, just trying to figure out what's next, right? So I know that you got to use those liquidity pools if you're going to get integrated within SilentSwap. Is the plan moving forward to include more liquidity pools that you are able to push through the secret network? What is that going to look like in the future, you think?
So we're incorporated into all of these decentralized DEXs as it stands now. But in order to move an entire whole token without a sell and a buy through our platform, it does have to be incorporated into those liquidity pools. But we have pathways. This is how we arbitrage. So when everybody starts seeing the platform live, what we have done on the platform is we allow all the users to see the transactions that are occurring, right? So instead of it just giving you a status update of what it's doing, you can actually see the process of where it's going. And so with every movement that it's doing arbitrages of pools, looking for the best price. And this is how we were able to, in some instances, get the user more money than what they've even started with after all the fees and the gas has been paid. But as far as like incorporating into more liquidity pools. I mean, if something comes onto the market that we can definitely utilize, then we will definitely incorporate it. We're already gearing up on V2, and I won't publicly state like the transaction amounts, but the V2 platform for SilentSwap will have even larger transactions than what the V1 has, and that's kind of the point of that. So we are utilizing more liquidity pools with deeper liquidity, instead of me having to actually seed liquidity into these platforms like I had to do with V1. But we're obviously going to expand as far as we can, but it's all EVM compatible as of now. We will eventually be incorporating native Bitcoin and Solana chains as well. But if you want to move Floki or you want to move Evergrow, like, you can do that through our platform. But just know that it does not move through the platform intact. It does a sell and then a buy, and then it routes those tokens, like for Floki or Evergrow, to another wallet that is no longer connected. But it will show from your origin wallet that there was a sell. So
good to know.
Solid token. Makes sense. Yeah. Can't wait to see what V2 is going to look like, honestly. Jacob, go for it, brother. Passing over to you.
I think you may have kind of answered my question in your previous thing you were saying, but I was just curious what chains were going to be accessible on launch, and then what wallets are also going to be being used with this. I'm guessing it's probably just MetaMask, but are there going to be others?
No, you're wrong. So we got Wallet Connect. You can use you can use all wallets. So that is actually what we are testing right now. So the team is testing different wallets. We've already thoroughly tested it through the desktop, but nobody is utilizing a desktop to move crypto around. So, my area that I'm testing is Trust Wallet, and some of the other team is utilizing MetaMask, and there is Uniswap wallet that we're utilizing. But to answer your question, we have multiple wallet connects incorporated into the platform. So as long as it's listed on there, and it's usually, your wallet's usually covered in these wallet connect bundles. We support all wallets. So I mean, you can use it. You can use it wherever you want, and it's all of EVM to start out. We were hoping to have native Bitcoin incorporated on V1, but unfortunately, the Bitcoin bridge that we've been waiting on the audit for, it's another company. I don't know what happened with them, but they stopped giving us updates. They are still making updates on their GitHub, but as of right now, we are looking for a decentralized native Bitcoin provider. Obviously, you can move like wrap Bitcoin through us, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I want to move native Bitcoin because I'm a Bitcoin holder. I don't hold any of this wrapped Bitcoin crap. So, this platform came from, a problem that I myself and my friends were facing, moving our cryptocurrencies around. And so definitely need to make sure that it's adaptable to the assets that my circle holds. And I think this particular, application, the masses will find very useful as well. So, we're just trying to solve solutions. But as it stands on V1, it's going to be all of EVM compatible. If the token is listed on like PancakeSwap, Uniswap, the platform can move those assets around. And how it gets the privacy layer is it does a sell and then it rebuys it and routes it to the address that you specify. But as of right now, you can't just move Shiba Inu around, unfortunately, without a sell or a sell and a buy. So, we're working on that, moving tokens intact that are not incorporated through, the different liquidity providers on Secret Network. But, that will come a little later. As of now, it's a buy and a sell if it's not listed.
Hell yeah.
Might be able to help you with the Bitcoin thing, by the way. I'll send you a contact.
Hey,
I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been waiting on Namek, and Namek was very actually, spoke quite in detail with Aztec about them, and they were doing great things. They raised a lot of money, but I have no idea what the hell is going on with them. So, for the time being, we don't have native Bitcoin, but I can tell you for sure and certainty the chains that we plan on incorporating are going to be Solana and native Bitcoin as well. So it's already all of EVM compatible.
Nice.
Yeah, I only play with people that know what they're doing, and I've been mining for, I don't know, like 12 years. So This is Bitmain backed.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go. Paul.
Hey,
what you got?
Yeah, I'll wrap this up real quick. I know you got to go. I just want to shout out everyone. the SquidGrow community is obviously mostly in here. There's some AggreGrow people, but the way the two communities have been working together and supporting each other, I'm going to talk to the SquidGrow community right now. You guys have been absolutely fantastic, and so is the AggreGrow community. Everyone, the communities are working together to, not raid posts, but like, create exposure and awareness for each other. And I think it's, maybe one of the first times I've ever seen something like that, where it's not rival and tribalism, where, the communities are working together to get exposure and let other people know about each project. And it's not like, of course, we all have our main token, you support Evergrow or SquidGrow, it's like your main thing. But everyone knows we diversify and everything like that. So the fact that, we are not competing against each other, I guess maybe on like one way on the marketplace or whatever, but it's still, the communities are working together towards the same goal. And there's more than enough money to go around, more than enough people to go around. And we realize that, and the two teams and the leaders, get along so well, and the community does. And I want to say thank you to all the SquidGrow people out there, all the AggreGrow people out there, especially the SquidGrow people, because they're more in here, for even doing that. And they did it themselves. It wasn't even us like having to do it, or asked to do it. And it's awesome to see.
Hell yeah.
In the space.
Hell yeah. Shout out to the community for sure. The SquidGrow family, the team, the community, everything. Shib, I know you got to run, brother. You got a call to get to.
Yep.
Thank you. Let's do this again sometime, man. I definitely, I know there's a lot more that we could talk about. I feel like we could talk for hours and just make everybody listen. So.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I've got to start wrapping this up. The meeting's getting going right now, but, I just wanted to say, Jay Chains, man, it's a pleasure to speak to you again. I look forward to seeing you in Nashville. Action, thank you for coming up. Paul, it's always a pleasure. To my community and the Evergrow community and everybody else that's listening, thank you for your time and your patience listening to me ramble on. I do see Doug with his hand up real quick, so I just want to make sure he doesn't have any final questions for me before I wrap up and bow out.
He's gonna offer you cake.
I am going to offer you cake.
No.
Shib, my question.
Mute him.
Can you hear me?
Mute him.
No, I'm not. Don't mute me. Don't mute me. I was here in silent protest of the pizza party, but Shib, I want to thank you personally for supporting Karate Combat and all the stuff you did for J Chains and all the athletes, and showing that you want to support other communities and people. And I just wanted to listen to you more and get to know more about SquidGrow. And Tina's my homegirl, and like all the stuff happening with like wanting to build and be part of projects is really important and powerful, because I've been with Karate Combat now for almost like 8 months and really fell in love with them. Like before, people here probably really knew who they were. And when you find projects and people that are like simply amazing and doing really exciting things, you really want to be part of it and grow and do cool things. So like seeing the moves that people do is really important, and watching and seeing like, wow, that's really cool. And especially I want to give a shout out to Tina, who's been amazing. So thank you, Shib.
Shib's got to go. Doug, you did that to yourself, by the way, Shib. You got to know about Doug. He'll, once he gets going, he gets going.
It's okay, guys.
We love Doug. I love Doug so much. He's one of my.
We love you, Doug.
We love you.
You're
Doug.
the best, buddy.
I'm buying a little time, so the devs are going to open the call. So I can obviously be a little fashionably late, but not too long. This is a pretty big call for us.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, go run and do your thing. I got to get out of here. I got to have some pizza. As Doug, he doesn't read the room well sometimes. He's like on this team cake thing. Where we will squash this in the pit one day. I know we will. And Team Pizza, if you guys are watching the live stream, I'm wearing my Team Pizza shirt. Like, we represent. I don't know about you cake eaters, but Team Pizza shows up. Shib,
I'm eating cake.
I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to the whole SquidGrow team, community, fam. We love you guys. Have a great weekend. Do something cool. Make yourself 1% better today than you were yesterday. Do that a few days in a row. That smile will turn upside down, or a frown will turn upside down to a smile. Jesus. Have a good weekend.
Take care, guys. Later.
See you.